shine your shield, sharpen your arrows, and load up your web shooters. Thanos is coming. I'm Sasha Perl-Raver, and this is Screen Junkies News. Ever since the Purple One himself, no, not Prince, R.I.P., Thanos made his debut in the first Avengers movie, we knew it was only a matter of time before Earth's mightiest heroes would fight the intergalactic tyrant. And then when news broke that Avengers 3 would be called Avengers Infinity War, we knew the hour was nigh. And now, thanks to Licensed Global Magazine, we have a plot synopsis for the Avengers' greatest challenge yet. Jonathan, roll that beautiful full screen quote. Quote, as the Avengers and their allies have continued to protect the world from threats too large for any one hero to handle, a new danger has emerged from the cosmic shadows. Thanos, a despot of intergalactic infamy, his goal is to collect all 6 Infinity Stones, artifacts of unimaginable power, and use them to inflict his twisted will on all of reality. Everything the Avengers have fought for has led up to this moment. The fate of Earth and existence itself has never been more uncertain. Well, here with me to talk about what this ominous paragraph means are the Nebula and Gamora to my cosmic tyrant, Matt Key and Jay Washington.
Yes.
Hey, dudes.
Which one am I, Nebula or Gamora?
I think that you are Gamora because Daddy loved you more. That's the answer. He's the unlicked cub. It's okay. We love you,
We love you, Jay.
It's okay, Nebula.
Click your bones into place.
All right, guys. This sounds pretty dire.
I like the way you read that synopsis, though. You had all the emotion and all the feels in it.
Well, that's what you have to do when Licensed Global.
Yeah, that's my favorite. That's my favorite part of the Licensed Global Magazine.
All right, I'm going to get a subscription.
News has got to come from somewhere.
But this paragraph sounds pretty dire. What do you think the thoughts are on inflict his twisted will on all of reality?
I mean, if they're going with the comic books, then it's he wants in the Infinity Gauntlet comic book, he pretty much obliterates half the universe. He's like for death, like he's in love with death. That's his big main squeeze. It's not reciprocated, and he's trying to win her
to court death.
He's courting death, which is why like the little grin at the end of Avengers is like to fight the humans is to court death. And he turns around and he has that big smile, and it's Damien Poitier and not Josh Brolin.
Don't you remind people of that? Don't do that.
Damien's a really good guy. Like I really like that guy.
We also know
but it's like courting death. So like in the comic books, he's like he destroys half the universe. They just blink out of existence. And that's when the Avengers kind of wake up. Like Adam Warlock comes to Earth and he's like, so check this out. Like you guys are all heroes. This guy's being a jerk. Got to take this guy out. Doctor Strange is like, here's a portal. Let's go do it. So I think they're probably going to follow that a little bit. Is that he is like, there's been rumors that he's courting death, that he's in love with death. My guess is that it probably won't be as unreciprocated. It will probably be like, she's like, I kind of dig you too. Like, let's go kill the universe together.
How much do you really like me?
Also, at the end of Avengers, Captain America Civil War, you remember Thor even said, this is the 4th of the 6 Infinity Stones that have been appeared. Someone's making
Age of Ultron.
Age of Ultron, I'm sorry.
Age
of Ultron, excuse me. Thor even mentions this is the 4th of the 6 Infinity Stones that have been. Somebody's bringing them out.
Yeah.
So Thor, he knows what's going on. He has a clue what's going on. So his whole mission is to seek out what's happening, to figure out what's going on. So to know that somebody is trying to bring all this power forth, that lets him know. And what his goal is, court death. It's trying to oppress a female. Look. As a black man in those game, when you got power, what you want to do is you want to be like, what's up, baby? Listen, you over here killing people. I'm crushing worlds. Let's unify this. I got one daughter that's out here with some dude. I really don't like him. The another one, her bones don't even go right. Let's me and you make this cosmic thing happen, man.
Kind of his fault.
You see this? This glove? I got 5 of these stones. The 6th one is somewhere. I hope it ain't at the black dude's house. But look, we gonna go get this and do that. That's how I feel like doing this.
I don't know how you get women, but that is twisted, Jay Washington, but I'm into it.
We're talking about a dude who is courting death. It has to be twisted.
That's very true. So much of what we left off with in Civil War was the team sort of disassembled. So how much do you think is going to be about the team reassembling? as we move forward.
Well, I mean, a lot of the rumors have been that this is like the Nashville of superhero movies. And I mean, we've talked about it on the show before, but I really feel like they're probably going to follow that. Like the fact that they started shooting both of the films separately, they were like, we're going to film 3 and 4 together because we're crazy. I think they were like, actually, that was crazy. We're not going to do that anymore. And part of it was because I think there are so many different tones that are competing in Infinity War. So I think we're probably going to see the two teams not together at first. I think by the end of the film, they're going to realize we actually have to unify. As much as we don't get along and as much as we disagree with how this should work, we have to unify.
How many people do you think will have to die in order for them to unify? And what I mean is, do we think there will be the death of a primary character that will be the unifying force?
Well, there's been talk of some of the primary characters wanting to step off being Avengers.
Yep.
Robert Downey Jr. wants to step aside. He's getting older. Chris Evans wants to go behind the camera more so. But then he turned around and said he wouldn't mind being Steve Rogers a little bit longer. So we don't know if he said that now to try to throw the fans back off. Because maybe he does still want to step away from in front of the camera and go behind it. Maybe Hawkeye dies. Because I hate to say it, and a lot of people will hate to hear this, Jeremy Renner's character is not one that you're like, we need Hawkeye as an Avenger.
I mean, they even make fun of it in Age of Ultron.
When he says, look, I'm here with a bow and arrow.
None of this makes sense.
None of this makes. And also, if you remember,
I love that. That was actually one of my favorite lines.
That's a great line.
when it comes to how they got back together, remember, they split up in the very first Avengers after everything with the Tesseract and Loki, right? In the very beginning of Avengers Age of Ultron, we have no idea how they got back together. All of a sudden, they're fighting in Russia. So there was never what brought them back together.
Yeah.
So something has to happen where it's like, listen, is it Tony that does it? Because now Tony's on the outs pretty much with Steve.
Right.
So you got Nick Fury who's like, look, I gotta really stay back. I can't openly be here. Mm-hmm. Who is the person that says, look, I need you guys to come together? Is it Black Widow? Is it a Hawkeye? Is it even a Scarlet Witch?
Or is there something that happens in Thor Ragnarok that then forces this forward?
Because we've got, let's not forget, we have, before we ever get to Infinity War, we have Thor Ragnarok in November, then we have Black Panther in February.
Yeah.
And both of those films come out. We have no idea what's going to happen in those two films that are going to then fuel or feed into Infinity War. And I've heard quotes about Thor Ragnarok being incredibly important to the Marvel Universe, but I've also heard that for Black Panther. So I think both of those films are going to play heavily into what unfolds for Infinity War. Because Guardians of the Galaxy really didn't do much. It was very much a standalone.
Yeah.
Like I feel like that was,
the first one only was the one that went into the story.
But like I feel like the second one was James Gunn saying, "All right, look, I gave you the first Guardians. I played ball by your rules. Can we please I just want to play some 3-on-3 and just do like a simple little just a family movie, please."
Well, and now that we've moved forward, how will the Guardians end up coming into the story?
Well, Zoe Saldana told Fandango, she had a quote, she says, quote, "We're also in space, so we're not being held by gravity, and, we're stronger." So assuming the Avengers go into space, that's how the two of them meet, because the Guardians never come back to Earth, technically. They don't do it in the second film. I mean, we talk about Earth because, of course, that's where Peter Quill, he's from. But they never come back. So I'm assuming everything happens in space. And that's why this whole cosmic universe is now opened up. Again, Thor and having the Bifrost again and being able to transfer through realms and stuff like that. So.
Here's what I think happens, actually. I just while as you were talking, I was formulating, yeah. Thor Ragnarok, Thor comes back to Earth. He's got Hulk, and everyone's like, "Hey, where were you guys at? Like some stuff went down. Like we missed you. Like it would have been nice to have you." He's like, "Well, you remember those Infinity Stones? I've discovered where they all are. Here's actually one. Maybe he's got the Soul Stone. Who knows?" And then ends up working with Black Panther. Black Panther in the comics works with Tony Stark to develop the technology to go to space at will and just whenever they want. So I think like Thor Ragnarok comes back and is like, "Here's the threat," and then Black Panther's like, "Let's go get it." And that feeds into Infinity War.
Here's the threat. Here's the ship.
Well, interesting because we have the wonderful publication License Global. We got another quote, you guys. We got a quote about Black Panther. What they say here is, after the events of Marvel's Captain America Civil War, King T'Challa returns home to the reclusive, technologically advanced African nation of Wakanda to serve as his country's new leader. However, T'Challa soon finds that he is challenged for the throne from factions within his own country. When two foes conspire to destroy Wakanda, the hero known as Black Panther must team up with CIA agent Everett K. Ross and members of the Dora Milaje, Wakandan Special Forces, to prevent Wakanda from being dragged into a world war. So we're talking about a very technologically advanced nation, which does really make sense if like we find the threat here and here's how we handle the threat. But there are obviously so many threats in Black Panther to T'Challa, to Wakanda. This is going to be, I think, a really awesome movie. But the question is how do you, when we know the universe is in peril, do you lose any sort of pomp and circumstance in the world war when you know there is a galactic war coming?
We know the universe is in peril because we know the slate.
Yeah, we the audience.
We the audience.
Because
We
of
know-
License Global.
Right, because of
Also because of the giant Marvel event that they threw like in
but-
2014.
Shout out to
License
License Global.
Global.
License
Shout out.
Global, LG is
But
what we call it.
We know that. We know the timeline. As far as the movies and films go, they don't know what's happening next. So again, we found this out when the first set of movies, when Phase 1 was happening, movies were running concurrently at the exact same time. So Thor Ragnarok could be running the same time as Black Panther.
yeah.
Granted, they come out different times, but they could be running at the exact
true,
same
yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And we don't know this yet.
Yeah.
So we'll find that out, of course, after Black Panther.
Sure.
You know, so of course, right now, that's all. It's a world war. No one knows of the bigger threat.
Right.
You know, so at the end of Black Panther, we'll figure out, oh, there is a bigger threat to this. But again, the fans, the audience, we know there's a universal war coming.
And like to tag on to what you just said, like I think that the thing to remember for Black Panther is that like they don't know that this threat is coming. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. I don't think they do. But we don't know what's going to happen in Black Panther. Like does the world war break out? Does it weaken the entire Earth so that it's an even worse state when Thanos arrives? Like what happens in Black Panther to impact the events of Infinity War? You know,
Right.
I think that's the bigger question. Like,
Well, and one of the people that gets name checked in this is Martin Freeman's character, Everett K. Ross. And I'm wondering, he played a CIA agent previously. Do we think this is sort of like the new Coulson? Is that at all possible?
that's interesting.
That's a good comparison.
Yeah, that's a good
just
comparison.
wonder-
Yeah, so in the comic books, I actually really love Everett Ross in the comic books because like the very first panel you ever see him in, it's in the Christopher Priest run, I think from what was it, 97, I want to say, Black Panther's like volume 3, I think. Deep cut.
I was like, I'm definitely the one to ask.
I know it's Christopher Priest run, and the very first panel you ever see him is he's on top of a toilet with his pants off and a gun drawn looking at a rat. He's like, no. Like he's kind of a scaredy cat in the comics, especially when it comes to Wakanda. Like, so like when they were like, hey, we're casting Martin Freeman, I was like, well, it's got to be Everett Ross. And it turns out it was. So he absolutely could fill the role of a Coulson, like in that way where he's very well connected. He's actually very good at his job, is like moderately cowardly as he is. He's very sharp, very good at his job, knows what he's talking about, and he ends up being kind of a special liaison to Wakanda. If Black Panther is going to end up playing in the MCU as importantly as we've been led to believe, then it would make sense that Everett Ross would be there every step of the way.
And
Also-
who are the Dora Milaje? Like the Dora Milaje, which gets name checked here as Wakandan Special Forces. This is something that I think is actually pretty cool.
It's
Jay, do you
a
wanna?
group of dominant, kick your behind women who will beat up any. Shuri is one of them. I believe she was like, I'm not sure if she is one or she's a leader.
I don't think she is. She's the sister. She's the sister to T'Challa, and she becomes the Black Panther at some point.
Later on, she actually becomes the Black Panther, which is super dope because she whoops more behind than her brother did. But you have these women who are trained better than regular special forces in any other country, and so they are personal bodyguards to the king. And it's like, he's like, look, I don't have to handle this. They can. And most guys, the men in the comic books, they see women and they're like, these women won't do anything. And then one runs up and you see him getting thrown down. He's like, I'm sorry, I'm going to go this way. Because he realized how much he messed up. One of the big things also is we forget to mention this biggest thing, what makes Black Panther and Wakanda so important, vibranium.
Yeah.
So you have to have the protection of that.
Yeah.
You know, not only are you protecting the throne and the country and the kingdom of Wakanda, you're protecting this major deposit of vibranium which the entire country sits on.
Yeah.
And so you have this genetically bred super women, no pun intended, to protect that and to protect the king at the same time. And they are so dope. They are so, like, if I could have them just to be at every place I go, just like for hecklers at comedy shows. Hey, girl, you want to handle that for me real quick? All right,
Yeah.
like I was saying.
They're total badasses.
Yes, they are.
They're moderately kind of sometimes referred to as like brides of the pan. Like not really. Like it's not like they're actually courting each other, but they
Right.
do kind of. They're with him enough that there's an element of like they're kind of his wives in a way. Like even though there's no like romance
Right, we
between
never
them.
see or hear any romance between them. So
Well, that's cool. Do we have any specific casting yet that we know for Adora Milaje character?
Yes, Lupita Nyong'o and Danae Guerrera. I cannot remember
So
which ones
obviously,
they're
once you
playing.
get
but-
Lupita in, she's going through Infinity
So you
War.
get Lupita,
Yeah.
and then you get Michonne from The Walking Dead.
Yep.
Yeah.
Let's just
Yep.
say that.
So it seems to me more and more, like as we talk about this, it is so obvious that they are setting up some dope new characters because people are for sure going to die in Infinity War, and then they're just going to sort of pass the mantle, which is cool, but if they do pass the mantle, first they have to survive Thanos. So we wanted to know, how do you think Thanos will inflict his will on reality? Matt Key, what are the good people on the Twitter saying?
Well, on the tweets over here.
Twitter.
The tweet.com /gov. Devin Colson says he will plunge the Starways with their blood. Nick Cummins says by using the Infinity Stones, of course. Let's see. Leslie Happleblap says by using the contrabulous fabtraption of Professor Horatio Hofnagel.
Can you do that as my voicemail outgoing message?
Sure. And then Joel Smith at J Mass Smith 2484 says he's going to let Michael Bay direct Infinity War to destroy the Avengers franchise forever. I believe that will make it
scariest
That
thing.
is-
Avengers
honestly-
Meta War. I believe is what we would call that.
Avengers meet the Transformers.
That's terrifying.
Yeah.
That is absolutely terrifying.
Joel Smith, you can see yourself out.
But we want to know, how do you guys think Thanos will inflict his will on all of reality? Let us know in the comments below. You can tweet us at SJ News. Make sure to like and subscribe. And of course, you can always click here for more Screen Junkies news. See you soon.